Okay, welcome to the Athletes Toolbox. So, the Athletes Toolbox is all the different things that you have that come into play that people don't think about. It's more than just your training. It's more than just your, things that you've done on that regard. But we want to build out on the kind of the hero framework of how we do things. So, looking at that framework, we have four different components. We have the movement, nutrition, the mindset, and then the rejuvenation. So, we're talking about now. We're looking more at the rejuvenation component as well as the mindset component when it comes to athletics. A lot of people miss that part because they may be, I'm not sure, whatever else they may be dealing with at that point. They're thinking that's all about the training or it's all about, how I compete and all that type of stuff. But they forget about the rejuvenation and the mindset. So what I wanted to start with was that recovery or rejuvenation. One of probably the single most important aspect of any type of training regimen is the rejuvenation component. A lot of people don't see it. A lot of people don't believe it's that important of a factor. You'll have people who are runners who will run every single day. You have people who work out and lift. They'll lift 6-7 days a week. People don't believe in active rest and recovery. And then what I run into is a lot of high school athletes. They don't believe in going to bed. Whether that's because they're having a super hard time in school and they're up all night doing homework or something along those lines that keeps them up all night, or they're up playing on the phone, playing video games, Netflix, and all the different things that they may be doing is what's keeping them up at night. So, short story, I was coaching, had a girl who was up all night doing homework, great student. She's up doing a lot of homework every night, studying for tests, all the other stuff, didn't get a bunch of rest. She came out to perform and just fell out. It was like an overwhelmed situation. She had like a panic attack. All that type of stuff comes into play when you're not sleeping. When you're not sleeping, then you can have all sorts of bad things that show up. So that's one of the big things that I see a lot when younger athletes, they don't believe they have to rest or recover, or they want to overdo. And a lot of times that overdoing messes with how your training goes, and that does not allow you to perform well. So that's a big one there. The next one is mindset. Mindset is huge in terms of performance because of the way we think about this. I'm going to show you more on that on the next slide. And then physical injury is another thing that hinders performance. But the first thing that hinders performance is that recovery, and then we deal with the mindset and then physical injury. So on the mindset, when we talk about mindset, we have two extremes. We have those people who are paralyzed by anxiety and they can't do much on that side of things. And then on the other side of this, we have people who are extremely confident. But in the middle, in between there, how you get from anxious to confident is the things that you do on a consistent basis. It's really about consistency, but we're talking about affirmations. Like the more you repeat things to yourself, like I am, I can, those types of things, that brings you a much further distance than sitting there saying I wish. I wish lets you know you don't have it. Saying I am, I can, that means you already have it. It just needs to be executed on. The visualization is a huge component that a lot of people miss. And my big thing with the visualization is when I was coaching, we had a team that we didn't have a track. We were unheard of relatively in terms of track and field. And we took this little school that didn't have a track and became well known because we had this mantra of see it, believe it, achieve it. That's all we ever say is see it, believe it, achieve it. The first people in the state to win the state championship. We said we're going to be the first boys or girls in the city to win the state championship. So that happened. That happened because we couldn't get that picture out of our heads. It was, we're going to win this race. We're going to do these types of things. The way I did that was we did a real detailed explanation of, or visualization of how something was going to go. So we would have, and it works for any sport, but I'm just talking track and field in particular. But it was, we all went all the way to I woke up this morning, I ate this, I am feeling like this at school, I had this accomplished on my test at school. I ate this for lunch. As the day went on and we went home, went off, left for the meet, I was feeling this way. I was wearing this. The weather was, 60 degrees and sunny. When I warmed up, I felt the sweat rolling down my back, and that's when I knew I was ready to go. My shoes felt extra tight, and they were like, really comfortable in terms of that tight fit. And when I was gonna, long jump and I was coming down the runway, I felt it on that 8th step. I felt the takeoff, and then here it was. That was my 18, 19-foot jump that I was looking for in long jump. The same with the hurdle race, the same with the 100 race. We did every race. Every kid had to turn in their scripted visualization, and some of them were like 5, 6, 7 pages, which is what I wanted. But if you have it at that level of detail, it's difficult to mess that up, right? Because the one thing about visualization that nobody really thinks about is that you can only practice so many times. You can only do so many reps, so many free throws, so many jump shots, so many the crossball passes, so many soccer kicks, goal kicks, blocking goals, whatever. You could only do so many physically. Mentally, you could do millions upon millions upon millions and never get tired. And the thing is, a vividly imagined dream, your brain doesn't know the difference between that and reality. And so when it comes down time to executing on these things at a particular event, it just becomes a matter of execution. It's not a new event, it's just your body executing on something you already planned, something you've already laid out, something you've already demonstrated to your nervous system over and over and over. This type of thing is what gets you from anxiety, being a little upset and cautious about what you're doing, to the point where you have confidence in what you have going on. So that will be the big steps there. When it comes to physical injuries, there's 4 things up here. I'm only going to talk about 2. We're bringing Mr. Carter up to talk about the other 2. But when it comes to joints and nerves, okay? When it comes to nerves, let's start there. I'm a chiropractor, so that's going to be my go-to. So a nerve communication, it runs out, it's like 280 miles an hour, that communication speed. I always say 300 miles an hour. We're rounding it up for sake, and make that easy numbers, okay? So if you have a nerve impulse that from your brain telling your body what to do, it's moving at 300 miles an hour, but for some reason, because you've been hanging down with your phone all day for days, and your neck, you can't really stand up in an upright posture, it cuts that communication speed to maybe 250. Or 175. What does that look like in terms of how you move compared to somebody else who has the full 300? You're moving almost half as fast as they are. So your body can't execute at the same level that theirs can, because your nervous system's not communicating at the same level that theirs is. So if you have this interference in your nervous system, interference in that communication, then what you end up with is a person who is not performing at their optimal level. That shows up a lot of times as muscle pulls, a lot of times as cramps, a lot of times you end up with poor performance because you don't have those communication channels open to their fullest extent. So we have that part going, okay? Chiropractic, of course, looks at helping that clear communication between the brain and the body, making sure that when you get adjusted, what is happening is you are alleviating any place of interference. And a lot of times that interference comes from muscles, comes from fascia. And so you have those 2 components. So we wanted to provide you with some different solutions to those types of things. The next one is joints, which again, chiropractic comes involved with that one as well, to make sure all those joints are moving freely. A lot of times when you have a small misalignment in the joint, it's enough to throw off a ton of that nervous system communication. They always say the weight of a dime on a nerve is enough to cut like 75% of the communication. Don't quote me on that number, but it's really high. It's above 60% of that communication is cut at the weight of a dime on a nerve. So that little bit of pressure is enough to disrupt everything. That's enough to cause migraine headaches, digestive issues, heart palpitations. It's enough to cause a lot of different issues that people are maybe or may not be aware of, and then they may not relate it to being nerve interference. But all those things happen. Asthma, all that other stuff comes, into play when you start talking about nervous system interference. And then you start talking about the joints. When those joints are misaligned, that's part of that communication channel. Because your nervous system is basically the main part of your nervous system is guarded by your bones. Okay, your central nervous system, your brain, down your spine, that's all guarded by your bones. If your bones are misaligned, then what ends up happening is you have that miscommunication that happens there. Another fun fact is that younger athletes, a lot of times they end up with stress fractures. The reason the whole thing about the athlete started is because last year I was dealing with a lot of the athletes I have worked with on a team, not my particular athletes, but on the team, those athletes, some of our star athletes, ended up with tons of injuries. And the first one we had was a stress fracture. Now, stress fractures, there's a lot of research out here showing how nearly everyone who's been involved in a stress fracture has a vitamin D deficiency. A lot of people miss that. Vitamin D deficiencies are a serious thing amongst athletes, especially young athletes, because they don't eat the best. And you're eating ultra-processed food, which does not allow for your body to actually heal, to get any nutrients whatsoever. And so because you're not getting any nutrients, you end up with a lot of different deficiencies. And we already said before, people get ill and injured for two different reasons. You're toxic in something, or you're deficient in something. And so because those two things play a major role in this, then that's what we end up with, toxicity and deficiency. So if you're deficient in vitamin D, you're deficient in terms of hydration and all those other things, then that becomes issues, problems. So I'm gonna take a pause, let Mr. Carter come up here, and we'll talk a little bit about fascia and muscle and all the other stuff. That.
All right, hello, how's everybody doing? My name's Todd Carter. I'm a holistic massage therapist, licensed massage therapist located here at Hero Chiropractic. And I'm gonna talk with you a little bit about fascia and muscle. So what fascia is a type of tissue that surrounds the entire body. It encapsulates all of our muscles and all of our muscle spindles. And occasionally over time with repetitive movement, that fascial system becomes restricted. And it can become restricted for a variety of reasons. Basically how your body copes with everyday life stress, whether it be driving from home to school or home to work, back and forth, or just working with or dealing with, that unfortunate teacher who peers over your shoulder while you're taking a test and makes you nervous and you tighten up your body. So what we do here is we work with the system, the muscular systems, and helping to release that fascia and let it open up a lot more. We'll blend and meld that tissue so we can help your body to increase flexibility and range of motion. And then with a tight fascial system, then your muscles become more restricted, have a shorter range of motion, whether it be with track and field or swinging a bat with softball or baseball, making throws or catches in football and things of that nature. So one of the modalities that I perform here is called neural reset therapy, and it's a rapid muscular pain relief therapy that was designed and developed by Lawrence Woods. And what neural reset therapy does, it works directly with the nervous system to help the muscular system to deregulate itself. So after Dr. Ware does his magnificent chiropractic adjustments, he can send those athletes over to me, and then I will help the fascial system and muscular systems further that deregulation process that's done through the nervous system, so that the athletes can move in a more functional, broader range of motion. It also helps to decrease recovery time during post-workouts, so that the athletes can get back to optimal participation a lot faster. And the way that we apply neural reset therapy to work with the muscular system, it's set up with some gentle techniques that are applied in a particular process to the muscular system, where the athlete or the participant has to participate in their own healing. So you're just not coming and laying on the table and going to sleep. It's not a traditional massage type kind of thing. You actually have to participate in your own healing. So it'll kind of start, basically what I'll do is palpate around the muscular system, around the body, see where we have tight muscles. They're either going to show up as trigger points, bands, nodules, things of that nature. And then we'll implement the neural reset techniques to the body and facilitate that rejuvenation of the muscular system and allowing the body to relax and those muscles to back down or deregulate to their proper tonus. All right, Doc, do you have any questions for me?
No questions right now.
All right, very good. If you want any further information about neural reset therapy, go to neuralreset.net and you'll see an image similar to this come up, and there's more information about neural reset therapy and things that we do with the muscular systems and nervous system as well. So come on in. We're located at 8425 Castle Corner Drive, and we look forward to working with you. Thank you for your time, and I hope to see you soon. Go ahead and lay it on the table, face up. Spin around for me. There we go. All right. I just like to have your head up high. So basically what we'll do, let's say this athlete came in with hamstring issues. Traditionally, we don't do spot resets with neural reset therapy. We work through the whole muscular system. Just like was stated earlier, sometimes the brain will send signals down and through the body to protect particular areas of the body. So in order to completely work and deregulate the muscles, we work the entire system. So what we'll just do right now, we'll see, do you have any tight areas? We'll take the hamstring. How about that?
All right,
it's kind of easy there. So let's see what kind of range of motion he has here. About right there. Yep. Okay. And we'll check this side here. A little bit tighter here. All right. So what we'll do, hold this leg up here, right there. Good. Rest up. This is where he is right now with this one, and that's just a really quick reset there. Let's see if we can increase that a little more. Hold up. Relax down. And there you have it. So it's really quick. We can typically work the entire body in about 45 minutes to an hour, depending on how many muscles we need to work through. And that's a real quick demonstration of how neural reset therapy and how quick it can help to reset the muscular system. Give Dr. Ware a hand, 2 claps. All right.
All right, one of the things that we did want to share, and that a lot of people may not be aware of, is that we offer a lot in terms of athletics. Having been an athlete, been a coach, Mr. Carter's been a coach. We have athletic trainers in here. We have everything going on. So we offer a lot when it comes to the muscle and fascia work. Also, when it comes to dry needling, superficial dry needling, deep dry needling, craniosacral therapy, just a myriad of different things that we can do to help the body heal, to help people perform, as well as putting together nutritional programs for people. We've done another program, the Nutrition Secrets for Athletes. We did that as well. So we have a lot of different things that we offer athletes. So this is one of those opportunities where we have a special, the Athletes program is a special package that we put together. But you'd have to be here to get all that information. But when you come in, you can ask us about that information in terms of how that Athletes packet works. There is no insurance involved, not with that one. It's a special deal for our athletes because we'd like to see those athletes perform and move a lot better. So if you're watching this on a recording or Zoom, then know that you can't get that package unless you're in the room, so that you need to get with us when you come in, and we can talk about putting together the Athletes package to make sure you stay consistent in your performance throughout your season. Thanks for coming out. God bless you. Good night. It's my Russell.